Yeah. Or. Yeah, everybody will probably
Whenever you're ready.
North Richmond MAC meeting to order. So if I can get everyone in.
I'm sorry, call it to order.
Call it in order, y'all. Call it in order.
Well, come on, fellas, they calling us to order. I'm gonna do like we do it in the back.
Hey, sit wherever you want.
You sure about that?
Yes, sir.
All right, yes, ma'am.
We are about to get this meeting started. We're gonna go over the first item, which is roll call.
We have two members, Princess Robinson.
Princess Robinson and Latifah. So could you mention who we're missing today?
We're missing our chair, Don Gilmore, Glory, and Ms. Annie King, so we don't have quorum. So today we're just gonna be giving updates, because we can't vote on anything, so it should be a pretty
Short meeting.
short and sweet.
Okay, so as y'all heard, no quorum today, and we'll be, giving announcements on. Starting with the next item, which is, public comment.
Hello. My name is Latifah Abdullah. I'm a North Richmond resident. A couple things I wanted to mention. Also work at the North Richmond Farm. So a couple of things we have been talking about with street sweeping. So I wanted to say I'm encouraged by, is it Sheriff Ehrman? He was at the Green meeting last month, and seems like there is a plan. I was hoping he would be here tonight. I wanted to show him something that happened on my street today. But I'm encouraged that there is a plan for the street sweeping. One thing I have a question about is a drone I keep seeing in the neighborhoods, or drones. But yeah, so encouraged about the street sweeping. Wanted to thank the North Richmond residents that came out to the community vote on priority projects, and I'll give an update on that later. Right now, we have spring break at the North Richmond Farm, the middle schoolers. This week, we just finished with the after school at the farm, and that was the pre-K through fifth graders. And we also have Eagle Scouts. They're doing projects as their candidacy to become an Eagle Scout. And just want to encourage you all to bring your young people to the farm. We have 60 students coming from Danville. Sometimes we have students coming from other countries, so we definitely want to see our local folks coming as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment online?
I can't raise my hand. Is it okay to speak?
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to announce that the North Richmond 15th Annual Music Festival will be held on July the 11th. And we're also going to do the grand opening of the newly redeveloped park. So it should be a good time and a great event. So Shields and Reed Park from 12 to 5. Please come out and support us. 15 years strong. Thank you.
What day was that, Cynthia?
July the 11th.
Thank you.
And I will be getting in touch with people, waiting on my flyers.
Gotcha.
Okay, thank you.
Any other public comments? If not, we're gonna move past the approvals because we'll be taking that to the next meeting. So any decision or approval that needs to be made will be at the next meeting. So is there any, was it sheriff announcements next? Sheriff?
Good evening. So the month of March, there was a total of 441 calls for service, which generated a total of 29 reports. There was an assault with a deadly weapon on Sanford on the 14th. We also had a residential burglary on York, and a theft on Davila. Also a vandalism on 4th Street. To address the music festival on July 11th, I just please ask that you guys put in the special event notification form so we know what road closures we have. We can then the expected number of participants or patrons that will be there, so that way we can be prepared for that. And then as far as the street sweeping goes, we met last month since we kind of had we didn't actually come together, but we some of our poll units went around. They looked at the lighting and addressed areas that had either flickering or maybe low lighting. We got with Public Works to address some of that. The street sweeping specifically, we went around and made sure all the signage that's posted on the streets to notify the residents that street sweeping will begin. Those are all visible, they're not faded, so that way our signage is correct. We have been doing a decent amount of education throughout the community regarding the towing and how it's going to start. When our deputies are out towing the vehicles that they are, and residents are kind of around, they've been discussing it with them to let them know we are going to start. And then we also have a leaflet where we are both in English and Spanish that we plan on passing out along the streets to make sure everybody's aware when we are going to start. I believe that's going to be in 2 weeks.
Any questions?
No, just appreciation for all the work, and I've been hearing about all the outreach, and I really appreciate it because that means I will have less of a, people coming to this meeting upset about the street sweeping, which, I'm really thankful that you're taking that.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, still have a question before he go away. What is the officer's name?
My name is Lieutenant Brian Fitzgerald.
Oh, Fitzgerald. Okay, thank you. And I'll make sure we get that notification into you about the festival. And I would like to thank you. Last year, the sheriff department just did an excellent job. They stayed there at the middle of the street the entire festival, and that was just great, just fantastic.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, thanks for having me. Lieutenant Lucas, Richmond Police Department. I'm gonna cover this quickly because I have some special guests here this evening that I'd like to introduce. First things first, for our top incidents, well, for the month of March, we had 605 calls for service. Out of those 605 calls for service, there were 59 incident reports and we made 21 arrests. Our top 10 calls for service were for disturbances. Officers made 43 traffic stops and issued 30 citations, 21 parking violations, which tickets were issued for each one of those as well. And we also responded to motor vehicle theft reports, specifically break-ins of people's cars and stuff being stolen out of them. There were, again, 15 of those and then 9 actual stolen vehicles in the area. We also had several assaults that took place, one of which was under the Castro the bridge. There seems to be a small encampment that popped back up there. We found out about that this past weekend based on that call for service. So that information was sent to our crime prevention manager. We're going to get some services out there and try to get those folks into housing and that particular small area abated as soon as possible. Other than that, you all know about the street sweeping on our side. It's going well. I apologize for anyone who's received a citation, but please pay attention to the signage and when we're street sweeping, because that's gonna be continuing to take place. And the last thing, we did have 7 shot spotter activations. Luckily, no one was injured. There was some property damage, but no injuries. To respond to your concern regarding the drone, that's us. That's Richmond Police Department. That's us. We currently have several different things I can't get into specifics on taking place in the area, and we're working on some active investigations right now. So it's probably us. Last but not least, I'm going to turn the rest of my time over to Michael. They're here with me today. I'm sorry, you had a question?
Yeah, before you, turn it over, and I do have a couple of questions.
Yes, ma'am.
The 600 calls that you're getting, is that for the entire city of Richmond?
Nope, that is just for
That's just
your neighborhood.
this area?
Yes, ma'am. Now, keep in mind, we get calls for service for everything. Barking dogs, music complaints, parking issues, neighbor disputes, unwanted persons, et cetera. So that's just that's just all of the calls for service compiled. Again, if we were to break those down, 47 of those calls were for disturbances, 30 of them were for abandoned vehicles, 24 of those were for unwanted persons, 21 for parking violations, et cetera. So not all of them were emergencies.
And then for the drones, have notices, like, is it a requirement for notices to go out if you're gonna be having drones?
No, ma'am,
Okay.
it is not. As long as we're not flying a drone at in your window, peeking, yeah, no, it is not. There's any questions online? No? All right, with that being said, I have some special guests here. I'm gonna let them talk about their program because they do a much better job than I would. So I want to introduce Michael and his team from The Rock, which is a community outreach program that the city of Richmond, the Richmond Police Department, and them have all entered into about 3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
About 3 weeks ago, so it's brand new. So. Yes, ma'am.
You bring that report back in there?
When I get ready?
That drone report. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, thank you all for having us. We're humbled to be here. We're humbled to be working for the city of Richmond. This is a new program. We're what's called the Community Crisis Response Program. We have an acronym called ROC, which means Reach Out with Compassion and Kindness. The name of the logo is actually built by our youth and voted on by our community. So it's been a real fun journey finally getting it off the road. Our team just started on our 12-hour shifts on April 9th. So you'll have service out in the community from 7:30 in the morning till 7:30 at night. Little bit of history, so the type of calls that we respond to. Whenever you call 911, our dispatchers have the option to listen to the call. If you have something that's non-criminal, non-violent, or non-medical, then that's a call that they can consider to send out to the ROC team. Our officers are out and about, they're on a call. You mentioned disturbances and whatnot. There may be some disturbances where they can hand them off to us. Our team is skilled in mediation, conflict resolution, de-escalation, and our vans that you'll see out on the streets have the ability to transport folks voluntarily. That's the key to everything that we're doing. We have the time to sit with somebody and really figure out what service can we get, what resources do we have to help somebody out that may be symptomatic with mental health symptoms, behavioral health symptoms. They might be looking to finally look into some recovery, start their recovery journey, drugs, alcohol, any kind of pills, anything else like that. So the beauty of what we get to do, again, it's everything's voluntary. So officers can suggest, hey, would you like the ROC team to come out? Could be parent conflicts. I know that Raymond and Cato today were out. They did 2 calls today where they're mediating with parent and youth and just trying to figure out a good, reasonable, safe plan. But a little bit about what we do. We do respond to wellness checks. Our officers will let them know. They'll call their supervisors. Supervisor will approve to have us come out. Any kind of call you can imagine, like I said, that the officers think they would be better off by sitting and talking to somebody facilitating resources. You may also see us out in the communities doing outreach. See somebody that might be symptomatic, hearing things, seeing things. Maybe we can stop by offering some water, snacks. It's awesome. You'll see them out here doing some magic, doing all kinds of things just to build rapport with our community. So you may see us anywhere in the community, just really building a relationship with folks. We do low acuity transports. Again, somebody has to be voluntary. When somebody wants to start their journey in getting sober, and we see it every day, we're out talking to somebody, and some don't want to get sober. When they decide they want to take that next step and get sober, that's when we can say, let's see what we can do to facilitate that support. So it's been really good so far. I think we've gotten in the month 5 people to sobriety settings to start their recovery journey. In good faith, we haven't heard back from them, and that's a beautiful thing. We hope to see them later on when they've got some time under the belt of sobriety. We also do everything from noise complaints. Sometimes we'll work with truancy and whatnot. If our officers, firefighters might ask us to come out and do follow-ups. Last weekend, Raymond ran out on 2 calls for the fire department where they just needed follow-up services with somebody that was elderly. It was a wellness check. Are you okay? Are you getting the food, the water? Are you getting everything that you need? Families calling with some concerns. That was a cool call. Fire department called us out for an apartment building that had caught on fire. Folks were displaced. We worked with the American Red Cross. We worked with animal control to make sure the pet was okay. Just had some really neat stuff, and that's just in the first month. Like I said, we don't do medical calls, and we're really proud to be part of the service in the city of Richmond. We have one of the coolest teams. If you look nationwide at what Richmond is building, I mean, our dispatchers now have our police department, our fire department. We now have the rock team. We have the ambulances, and we have A3. So now we have a high end, we have everything. So we're looking forward to earning our place in this community every day we get out. And I don't want to take up too much time. I can get too excited, too long-winded about this stuff. But I do really want to introduce you to my team. They're the ones that are actually out on the streets, putting in the hard work. Little side note, there were 148 folks that applied for these positions, and we ended up with 8. After a 2-month academy, we ended up with 5, and we think we got 5 wonderful people. I'm going to introduce you to Mr. Ricardo Cole.
How you doing? My name is Ricardo. You can call me Cato for short. I'm born and raised here in Richmond. My summer jobs were here in North Richmond, painting houses through the Chevron summer jobs. I ended up going to St. Mary's College. I graduated with a degree in psychology. After I graduated, I actually joined the California Highway Patrol. I was an officer for 5 years. After a while, I started to realize I wanted to serve my community in a different way. And when this opportunity came across my path, I was like, this is where I need to be. There's nothing better than serving a community that helps shape you. And that's what the joy is for me in this job. It's more than just a job. It's something I'm really passionate about, and happy to be here and happy to be a part of this team.
Thank you.
I'm Randy Hodge, born and raised in the Bay Area. It's funny because on the way here, Cato and I was listening to some old school music, and it made us reflect on back in the day. And as I was sitting here, hearing about the calls that we're getting and things like that, it made me reflect on the Bay Area. At one point, everywhere was lit. I mean, everywhere you turn, things were happening. And especially in my community in San Francisco. At one point I looked up, saw my mom, I saw family members on drugs, I saw people going to jail, I saw the same things you guys are seeing out here. And I had a choice to make. I could either be a big part of the problem or a small part of the solution. God called me to do this work. I love what I do today. I was doing this before I even knew what it was. Case management, substance abuse, domestic violence, working with people in incarceration. It didn't matter what color you was, didn't matter what gender you was. I found my call, so to be part of this team right now, it's an amazing feeling. And we're already coming out the gate, being able to take calls like the structure fire where families were displaced. And it was all this tension there until we showed up. And I know that that's just God will do us. So thank y'all for having us here this afternoon. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any questions, anybody?
Yes, Cynthia here again. Mr. Romero.
Yes, ma'am.
senior band at the music festival last year. You didn't participate. So this year, hopefully, you'll be a participant. Okay. And so what I need is your contact information. I'll start with a phone number.
That would be fantastic. I can actually give that to you in public. I'm more than happy to have anybody have our number. And I did sneak in on that jazz festival, and that was a good
Yes, you
time.
did.
My number is in the 510 area code. It's 965
Yeah.
3492.
Okay. This is Cynthia Jordan. I'll be giving you a call shortly.
I appreciate it. Good to hear your voice. Look forward to seeing you again.
Okay. Good enough. Thank you.
So you said that, I see there's a number here, so is it a preference to call 911 and let them decide whether it's, or can folks call you?
That's the Richmond Police Department's non-emergency number. So that number you can ask for anything non-emergent. Like I said, if it's a call that sounds like it may need the police department, we absolutely suggest please call the police department. Oftentimes PD will come out first and they'll offer the community member. Would you like maybe to have the rock team come out? Seems like it'd be safe. Seems like maybe getting you guys somebody to talk to might be an option for you. So, but that number there is the non-emergency police number. And our radios are tied to the Richmond Fire Department. So our call sign is Richmond Fire Rock 1 over the radio. So.
I just have a couple of quick questions.
Sure.
Is one of these programs, is it funded by the Richmond Police Department?
It's
or the city of Richmond?
the city of Richmond.
Then when was the program implemented? Was it implemented this year or last year?
Interesting enough, I mean, I know the concept was like in early 2021, post George Floyd. I came to the city in May of 2024 to start building the foundation of the program. We finally started hiring and got through training. I believe it was February 2nd. And then don't quote me on that time. And then now literally the 9th is when we started the 12-hour shifts, which was super important because we have 2 teams out. We have on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I have 1 team. And then we have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we have a 2nd team. So everybody's starting
12 hours overnight.
in the daytime. But ultimately, we would like to go to 24 hours. Everything that we do, though, is truly data-driven. When we listen to Lieutenant Lucas and he talks about different calls for service, then we know just by looking at those calls, if they're welfare checks and whatnot, and we see that between 5 in the afternoon to 7 in the evening, we're getting a spike in welfare checks. As a mobile crisis team, we can be positioned out in that area. We may get calls to certain areas where folks tend to be drinking a little bit more often than not. Then that's an area where we maybe want to stop by there in the early part of the day, because we all know the progression of, some of the weekends tend to get a little bit busier and louder. And if we can be out there and start really getting to meet the community, that's what we're doing right now. I mean, we're having a really fun time with it, truth be told. Stopping by, they got a basketball in there, shooting some hoops. I still take them to hoops.
Lovely, and I'm glad that you hired people from the community, right? I'm glad that you already have made positions. I'm also really appreciative that there's a non-emergent step before police actually have to come out, because they're focusing on really bigger things, So I'm glad that the program is implemented. I'm wondering, because I remember Office of Neighborhood Safety used to be like that kind of core group between, residents and the police.
They had a different function than they did. Yeah, so the Office of Neighborhood Safety dealt with, gun violence and folks who were probably more prone to be involved or victims of gun violence, and tried to intervene and provide some direction to get involved early before something happened. So that's what they were doing, more of a community gun violence reduction type thing. They're completely different.
Completely different, real dispatch calls.
Yeah.
And so y'all just go out there with what, pages or so?
Just right there, you get the no.
They have the power of the
And part of that, that's a really good question, because folks ask that, but the number one thing is we're connected to dispatch. If we come into a situation, we spent 2 months going through different scenarios. We had advanced crisis intervention training, work side by side with our officers. Lieutenant Lucas has us come in, and we kind of figure out how we going to work together. What's the best way to do a warm handoff? What does that look like to the community member? How can we have a real impact? And we gotta, everybody here, straight up, we have lived experience. And if you see, so somebody doesn't want your services, we're gonna leave a water, we're gonna love around them for a minute. We may stop by. Interesting part of this work, and I've been doing it, I'm a psychiatric nurse going back to the early 90s. So some of the folks that I work with inside are now out in the community. So that being said, is what you'll see of our responders. You may see Cato doing magic tricks out there. Like, dude's on the clock, are you serious? But he's actually building rapport with somebody that at some point, maybe not that day, but maybe the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th time that he showed him a card trick, he finally gets to open up about, man, looks like maybe you ever think about getting some help with that drinking and maybe getting off the streets. But that call may not, that interaction may not come to the 8th time that somebody responds. In the world of this work, the average time of engagement with folks that are considered service resistant is usually about 17 is kind of the sweet spot. 17 times when you stop by and say hi to somebody, play some cards with them, talk about your life, your history and whatnot. But it's awesome. The 5 folks that we got to voluntarily go get help to start their recovery, I mean, we laugh, we cry. It's an awesome moment when somebody finally gets to that place where they put their hand up and say, man, I want to get clean. I want to try it. I'm ready to do it. We carry Narcan on us before we leave every day. We call it the Rock Arena. Make sure we have everything on us. But just to be a part of somebody's solution, somebody that's hearing things or seeing things. I always think about the old school John Lennon. Imagine if any one of us in this room had really loud voices coming at us or visions of things that weren't there. What do you do with that? We can sit with them for 5 minutes or 5 hours, and our officers are out there and they'll see it. There's no crime being committed. This person just needs some help. Is the ROC team available?
Like protect the officers from mental health, people that's on the streets, because officers is trained and they get rolled up if they don't approach a certain situation a certain way. So it put everyone in danger, even a person that's probably dealing with issues that don't have a threat. So is this program is something like a buffer where you guys want to put the Richmond police out there just in case something like that happened? Because I had a friend that worked for the Richmond police, and he said certain policies put him in certain positions. We had to approach certain scenes with his gun out, knowing it's not really wasn't that serious, but if he didn't approach with his gun out in a certain way, he'd get rolled up and have to deal with it back at the job. And it's like, oh, it was kids, I have to handle it this way. So even if they pivot off what the policy is, it's kind of like, they want to do something right, but they get rolled up at the jail. I mean, not at the jail, but at the police station. And so is this program is something that they can jump into and say, hey, we here to talk. Hey, we don't have that same policy where we have to come out and react to you because you act in a certain way. And since you're the police, you have experience, and can we just calm this down so we can get you to safety, right?
So I can take part of that answer. It's about resources for us. So a lot of the calls or services that the police department receive are really non-emergency, non-criminal calls. We call them their civil.
Okay.
So when we don't have enough, we should be responding to people who are being robbed, shot, murdered, those types of things, right? So it's about resources, it's about directing our resources and using them as most efficiently as possible. The ROC team provides the Richmond Police Department an opportunity to put our resources better work. So we can go do the things that we're supposed to do, finding out who stole a car, who robbed a liquor store, who beat up their old lady, et cetera. And then the ROC team can deal with those civil calls that are non-emergency, non-criminal. The neighbor complaints, the dog complaints, the loud music, the out of control children, the mental health issues. Now, there are mental health calls.
No, that's what I was saying, is calls like that's simple, that turn into something else. So that's why I said it's a buffer for the police to not get involved and send a ROC team.
He still may be involved.
Because just because you call in and say it's a simple complaint, sometimes when the police show up, it can turn into something else.
And that's why I said that, that's why I said that we still may get involved. It depends on the situation, and that's why we do the handoff. So when the call comes in, we triage the call, take a look at what the call for service is, who's calling. Do we have a history with this person or this particular location? Is this a person who is going to be compliant, nonviolent, et cetera? And then we can go, okay, this is the perfect opportunity for the Rock to step in and take this call so that we can go concentrate and provide, direct our resources to something else. But there are situations where they still may show up, get involved, get kind of like halfway down the road and go, you know what? We may need an officer to come back over here and help us with this one because it looks like it's starting to go in a different direction. So it's a true partnership. Yeah.
And, we're new to this crisis thing, but we're not new to crisis. Everybody that was hired, that Ron was talking about, there was a reason they brought us in. We all have lived experience, we all have professional experience also. So our guts and our instincts, if we show up somewhere, like it's already been triaged and we get there, and then it turns around and starts getting escalated. Hey, so you don't want services? You don't want any help? I told you, get out my face. You know what, you have a good day, put my car down on the ground right here, you pick it up tomorrow, call us, matter of fact, we'll be back tomorrow with some water. And we show up the next day with some water, and like, hey, and your mama, and you know what, with the water over here, we'll see y'all tomorrow. So, we're not necessarily a buffer. What we do is we come in and we connect with the people. We connect with the people for the resources. You know, so when you think of us, it's not like, oh, if y'all don't work with the Rock team, the police gonna come. It's not that kind of setup. It's not that kind of
No,
setup.
I wasn't saying that. It's like you guys come in with a level of mind that, you know, certain police, when a certain call comes, they have to come a certain way. Now, the Rock team don't have guns. So they don't have to pull out their guns on a certain call if they see certain, they don't have to operate. Like, he probably can speak more on this because he's was a police. Because they send them out there with a plan and a policy, they have to react this type of way no matter what's going on. So I'm saying the plan, like the Rock program, is like, hey, before we send, you know, the police actually out there, let's see what the Rock team can do and see if they can get it down to, you know, level ground and everybody can go about this. Hey, that's awesome.
You're right. Since we've been rolled out and working with the PD, it's almost like we're another tool in their tool belt. So when they show up and assess someone, and we've had these calls, what they'll do is they'll send an officer out first just to see, to make sure everything is safe. It's non-criminal, non-violent. And we've been called to someone having some mental health challenges. And they say, hey, Rock, so now we're a new tool. So they don't even have to get out, really approach and do much. They can say, you know what, this one might be for the Rock. And then wait for us to show up, warm handoff, and then it's time for us to work our magic. And so, yeah, there's no guns, there's no, unless, you know, PD's involved, we don't have anything other than the mouthpiece. And that's what we use and try to get the people the services and resources that they need.
Yeah.
It's just another tool in the tool belt.
Having these kind of programs available before the police gets involved because of the historical culture.
Growing up in Richmond, I mean, really before officer, growing up in Richmond as a youngster, I wish there was something like this years ago. Because just think about how many people lost their lives or had to go down went down another path. Or this program is amazing, bro. Like, I wish there was something like this when I was a kid. I wish there was something like this. Even when I was working CHP, I wish there was something like this where you could like, oh, there's a team that can come out and do stuff so we don't have to escalate.
Showing up high style. Police is coming up high style, what's going on
right
now? This is a different approach. So
exactly.
And we can spend more time, you know. Like the lieutenant said, the high ranking offenses, the murders, the robberies, the violence. We show up, somebody might be going through a mental health issue, might even just be a breakup and they just depressed. We can sit with them for 45 minutes. We can sit with them for 2 hours. And it relieves them and the fire department to go in on and take care of the rest of the community. So again, when you say we're a tool in the tool belt, not just for them, but for you too. You know, so please call us, we'll show up, we promise, okay?
Definitely.
That's what we do.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and move on, I know we are.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead, John.
Very fast, because I know this is the city of Richmond, and so we service the city of Richmond, and, so I would definitely highly recommend, you know, when you're in the city of Richmond, to contact them, because they're really close by, right? The city of Richmond's right here. The county does also have a community response team, and so I wanted to give that number, and it's also, and that one is 24/7, so even if it's like after 7:30 or 8, and you're like, I need someone to come out, the county is county-wide, and it is 24/7. And I have called them before for something that happened by the school, and they have a similar approach, right? Like, they come, they just talk to people, they give them resources, and, you know, that's kind of the responsibility. So, and this, initiative from the county actually came from, a killing that happened when there was a mental crisis, call, and it ended up in a murder, and someone got killed, right? And so this is in memory of them, a whole campaign and movement was built, and so that's why it's in memory of this person. The mom really led this initiative, and that's why it's called the Miles Hall, call center, crisis call center. And so I just want to give that number right now. It's 844-5544. And an easier number is the 211. So if you call 211, that directs you to all the county services, and you can call that number and get to this community crisis number center, rapid response team.
And they're a phenomenal team. It is a county team. I know the Richmond Police Department, all the other counties use it. Great team, similar service. We work with them. We do some collaborations with them. Some of the more high acuity calls where somebody may be placed on a hold, they're the team that can do that. And we've done some collaborations that are incredible. They got a great program, and we highly recommend them. We've worked with them before. They're great.
Well, up to you guys, it's a great, I'm happy to hear this is happening, definitely needed.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I would let you know the impact of it, so if there's any reporting that y'all will be great for y'all to come back. I know you're not on the agenda, I mean, on the standing agenda, but great to come back and give updates.
Absolutely.
Down on that.
Absolutely.
Thank you all for having us. The invite was really cool. Lieutenant Lucas, thank you.
Well,
Appreciate it.
thank you very much, everybody. Have a good.
Thank you.
Regular business.
Update.
Wow, go ahead, I feel like somebody share this out down. Next order of business, yeah. All right, let's get in past the decisions that we're supposed to be making today, and we're gonna just go straight into updates, so. The first community update is, what's COR?
City of Richmond.
City of Richmond.
Usually it's
Me, okay, I never know, I'm supposed to. This meeting. So
But if
I don't really have to.
yeah.
Hi, everybody. So this is just an update. I'm Jessica. I'm with the Mobile Tool Library. And this is a little shout out for Park RX Day, which is happening later this month. So this is on Saturday, April 25th. And it's going to be at Nickel Park, which is on McDonald. So this is from 10 to 1, and it's for young and old. There's a ton of events, free community fitness, rock climbing wall, walk with a doc. You can walk with a doctor and ask a question, get some pre-medical advice. There's food, there's things for kids, lots of fun games. So anyway, that's happening. I've got flyers and little kind of harder cardstock postcards if you want to, hang something up somewhere. Yeah, and other than that, we're still, the Mobile Tool Library, we're still coming over on Fred Jackson Way, across from the North Richmond Missionary Baptist Church. And we're there every first and third Saturday. And people are coming and borrowing tools. We are gonna we're gonna expand and maybe be at May Valley Community Center, which is a different district. But it looks like we're gonna expand to another day of the week. So we're happy about that. And yeah, so if you want to come out to Park RX Day, please do. And I think that's about all I've got. Does anybody have any questions?
And you're gonna expand to May Valley to do a Park RX or the tool library?
No, the tool library, yeah, we're potentially gonna go into District 4. So May Valley it's gonna either be May Valley or Fire Station 63. So we don't know yet, but basically we will be expanding to another day of the week. So yeah, so that's totally separate from this event, yeah. Anything online? I can't tell if anybody's. No. Okay, thank you.
Next is Housing Authority.
Good evening, everybody. This is Ted Berry, Deputy Executive Director with the Housing Authority. Not too much of an update tonight. Since our last meeting, we were able to close on one more sale of the scattered sites at market rate. That whole process is going very well. We still have 10 more properties that are in escrow and going through various formats of either funding that needs to be re-updated, or some buyers are trying to or securing their own appraisals to basically verify the sales price and see that it's within what it should be, and we welcome all that. So hopefully here in the next couple of months, we will have everything wrapped up. We continue to work with CHDC and completing our exclusive negotiating agreement with them and Eden Housing for the main campus. And once we negotiate that agreement, then we'll be working on a development agreement to really kind of hammer down the details of what the replacement housing is going to look like, the timelines, all of that. The one other component that we have a partnership for the Bayes Fellow working with us, and their mission these 2 years has been to collaborate with Richmond Land and CHDC on their eco village that is in development. And hopefully we can make some progress into, closing on the transfer of that property to Richmond Land, and getting them in a situation where they can start truly developing the property and getting some housing up and running. I know that one of our below market rate sales partners, Richmond Community Foundation, has been busy renovating for the properties that they purchased. They're already starting to market those units or some of those units. And so you want to keep an eye out for those. They have 3 single family dwellings, I believe, and 1 duplex that they'll be marketing. And those units are targeted to be sold to families that are at 80% of area and median income or below. And that amount varies based on the number of household members involved. But all of the below market rate units that we sold for $1, so that they could be rehabilitated and then sold to families after the completion of the work, are targeted to families at 80% of AMI. And the reason we did it that way is because many families won't qualify for a conventional lender loan if they tried to buy the properties in the condition they were in. So it really required somebody to come along, fix them up, and then, you know, when an appraiser goes in and sees the condition of the unit is habitable, then they can actually, you know, agree to sell or agree to let the buyer buy the property and give them a loan on the property. So all of these things are still in play and developing, and hopefully here in the next few months, there'll be some very happy new homeowners in North Richmond. Any questions?
Thank you, Tony.
Yeah, I have. I was wondering, is you guys planning on dropping the price on that vacant lot on Second Street? Because it's like the last property standing.
I'm sorry, I can't hear too well from.
I was wondering, was the county considering dropping the price on the property on Second Street, the vacant lot between Grove Street and Silver Street? I don't have.
So, yeah, we're not at the moment. We haven't even started marketing that property. We're required to sell everything at appraised market value because of the restrictive covenant that's on the property. So even these scattered sites that you are hearing about, we had to go to HUD with the copies of the appraisals, show them all the paperwork, so that they would give us, you know, the authority to actually sell them. And same thing is happening with that one. Now, the appraisal currently on that property is $240,000. We need to update that appraisal. It was done back in 2024, I think, or so. But either way, before we actually will take an offer on that property, we will have to have it reappraised, and whatever the appraisal comes in at, that'll be the price. You know, it might be lower, it might be higher, we don't know. But I have to go by whatever is on the appraisal.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a question online.
Yeah, I see Berta has her hand up.
Yes, hi. My name is Berta Alvarez, and I have a question for Tony. I would like to know who is in charge of cleaning up the scattered sites that are already being sold. Because it's always been trash. Like people comes and just dump their trash over there, and it really getting bad. So I remember before when when you were in charge, people were coming cleaning, but now no, and it's a mess. So I wonder who's gonna take care of this now.
So again, once they're sold and we close on the transaction, the buyers are responsible for everything at the site. So I'm not sure which property you're talking about, Berta, but you know, not all of them have closed yet. So for example, I told you we closed on 7 properties. The buyers are responsible for cleanup. If somebody dumps a bunch of trash there, they have to deal with it, or, you know, the sheriff can be called, you know, and they'll make them do it, you know, but the other 10 properties that have not closed yet, that's still on us.
So what I can say is that the one between on the corner of Chesley and 2nd Street, the other one is on Ruby, is the unit number 114, Ruby and 2nd. Right now, it's just so disgusting to just pass by and see all the trash there. And also the units that are between the Grove and Ruby on 1st Street. It's really bad. So I understand that now the new owners are in charge, but who are they? How we can contact them in order to take care of this?
I think the only thing you can do is call the county and just say, hey, there's trash dumping at this property. They would then go and look up because I'm you know, I'm not free to just give you their names. But you know, the county would find them. They would, you know, send them a letter and say, hey, you know, we got a report of trash here. If you don't take it, if you don't get rid of it, you know, you'll be fined. it's the same thing if somebody dumped a bunch of trash on your lawn, they would have to figure out who owns the property and then go after them. Tell me again the properties, Berta?
Yeah, one for sure I know the number is 114, that is on Ruby and Second. And the other one, I don't know the number, but it's right on the corner of Second and Chesley. And the other two properties, actually there are three, are between Grove and Ruby on First Street.
Yeah, it's the corner of Second and Chesley. I can figure out the other one. If you have a number or an address or something, you can email me. I'll look into it.
Okay, it's still the same email that you got like 5-10 years ago.
Yeah,
It's the same.
Doesn't change.
Okay,
TU
all right.
Safari at ContraCostaHousing.org.
Okay,
Yeah.
sounds good. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you. No, any other question, Leticia?
Yeah, I have two questions. My one actually adding a little bit more. But for the property on Second and Chesley, I think there's like big barrel. I think must be something containing that. That's been there like for a week already. I don't know who, I'm pretty sure that somebody special must be come and take care of that. The other one is for the big side of that side. Is that it's gonna be like houses in apartments, or it's just gonna be apartments? Just
Yeah. So the main campus is what you're talking about?
yeah, that's my
Yeah.
question.
So the main campus right now, the proposal is going to be for townhouse type housing. And there was going to be a high-rise 4 or 5 story senior apartment complex. So there's 2 different components to it. There's going to be rental and home ownership. That's the proposal now anyway.
Well, those are gonna be all under the affordable housing, or it's gonna be like a mix?
It's a mix. It's definitely going to be a mix. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I heard before. Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Thank you. And really quickly, Tony, did you say you already selected the developer for the main campus?
Yeah. So we're negotiating with CHDC and Eden Housing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Next on the updates is Supervisor Joya's office. Tanya, can you go up there? Tanya, can you go up there, please?
Again, fair is fair. Good evening, everyone. So quick little updates. I know we've been getting a lot of questions about the community impact funds, and sadly, I don't have any updates. We got over 200 applications, which we weren't expecting that volume. We were thinking like 100 or less. So I think we're just working through it. Supervisor Joy, of course, is working through them. He'll make the final selection. So we have a staff meeting on Friday. Hopefully I learn more, and at the next meeting, I'll have better news to share with everyone about that. I also want to thank everyone who reported street lighting. As the sheriff mentioned, they went out and drove around North Richmond and gave me a list of sites. And so the county has followed up on all of the ones on the county side. And now I need to work with the city to have them address the things happening in the city side. So there's been like some progress, which is great. With street sweeping, thankfully the sheriff announced that he will start street sweeping in about 2 weeks. They're gonna launch that program again. So they've been doing a lot of outreach. And we are currently looking to start a North Richmond kind of resident leadership committee to work on some ongoing issues that we haven't been able to kind of move. Hopefully this focus group will really help kind of drill down the details and be more of a kind of brainstorming, solution-based kind of space that's gonna be later in the evening, so it'll be probably like 6 o'clock or, after 6 o'clock, so it allows for more residents to participate. So we've been working on that with Urban Tilt and the watershed and basically the North Richmond Coalition, which is still like meeting on a monthly basis. So that's exciting. And what other updates do I have? So we did interview one person for the MAC to sit on the MAC, and we will be interviewing another person pretty soon. And I'm really excited about the two people. So hopefully as early as next month, I'm crossing my fingers, we can have some new members on the MAC. And there's Glory, she's not able to be here because she's pregnant. She's very pregnant. So that probably will mean there'll be one seat open. And I know there's been some interest from Chevron to come back. Yeah, Andrea said she might be interested in coming back. I don't know if you remember her, Andrea. Yeah. So we're thinking about whether it's Chevron comes back or finding a replacement from the school, like, Susanna or someone else. But there's a seat open, basically. So if you're interested, always feel free to reach out to me. I'm always willing to talk. Or if you have a lead or someone, you're like, this person might be good, definitely let me know. It makes a big difference. I think when I first joined this position, we had a full board and we had like at one point like 3 subcommittees and then 2 subcommittees and then we had a retreat, and it just makes a big difference when there's like a full board. I think a lot more things get moving. I thrive in teams, so when I have a team, I feel more like it helps push initiatives forward and work forward and stuff. So yeah, looking forward to a fuller board into the North Richmond Resident Leadership Committee. I think that's gonna make a big difference, hopefully, in some of these things. So, and then I think those were the big ones. And then of course, Earth Day is happening in North Richmond on April 18th, and I'm sure maybe other people will report on it as well. But it will be happening at the Lucky A's field, and I'll share the flyer. It is posted on social media. Hopefully people come out to that and support and just have fun. And then I'll take any questions or requests at this moment. Mhm.
Is there any chance for this meetings to be a little bit later? No. I mean, at least during the times when, the sun is nice and it's a lovely day. I mean, 5,
Yeah.
Just say so, as you see, I have not been here. I asked for 1 hour.
Yeah.
But it's
Oh,
actual.
thank you.
So, if there could be like, and not just my case, maybe more, we could get
More people. Yeah. Yeah, it's a dilemma we've been dealing with, because I think it works really well for the agencies and a lot of the council members, right? Because like Don, he works right here, so he comes right here, like immediately here and stuff. So I have brought it up in the past. I'm always happy to bring it up again. I think we're hoping that resident leadership committee can kind of be a bridge between these two, right? And we have like one later date that kind of opens it up and change the structure a little bit, right? Like sometimes we need a breakout group to like really, solve some of these issues that we have, So I think that's gonna lend itself to being a bridge to this. But I'm always happy to bring it back up to the MAC and see if they're willing to do it. Yeah, I'll ask again. B?
Yeah, I was just curious if there is like a county-wide um calendar of events. I heard a few today, and I'm just curious if there's a way that we could be tracking events for the whole county, ideally for North Richmond, but yeah, I could start at the county.
Well, the county does have like a calendar and everything gets posted on Legistar, and there's like a calendar where they highlight a lot of things. I would say that I don't see district offices, because John is like District 1 and where his office, I don't see district offices posting a bunch there. It's mostly like things that departments are doing. But yeah, there's like no central location that I'm aware of where like all the events are happening. I think I try to do my best with the MAC newsletter to post all the events I'm aware of and like through social media, but yeah, I'm willing to brainstorm on that. I know Canva does a really good job at, you can like do a website on Canva now really easily and stuff. So if we wanted to post stuff there, I'm happy to do that and promote that, but I guess the answer is no, not that I'm aware. Just that only post is North Richmond stuff. It kind of happens, yeah, at a small.
That's okay. No worries. Kind of a long
Yeah.
shot.
Thank you, Tanya.
Yeah, okay.
All right, our next one is CHDC. Is there anyone from CHDC here? Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. I'm just going to give a quick update for Kalu, our Community Services Coordinator. Highlights for this month is that we had our task force walk and we walked Wildcat Creek. We also have been working with all of the local nonprofit and community partners on the Earth Day, which will be on April the 18th at Lucky A's. The service projects will start at 9 a.m. And so there's going to be a Wildcat Creek restoration and then the Shields Reed Hope Garden Planning will be over there. There's going to be fun activities. There's going to be games, a petting zoo, snack, and free food. So we're really looking for the community to actually come out and participate. It's open to everyone. So we hope to see you there. And then as far as mitigation, we are actually on schedule as far as cleaning up this community. Working really hard with Deputy Ironman. Bandit vehicles are getting towed. RVs that are just stationed. We have one out here for a very long time and they had that removed. Code enforcement came out, so we're really working to, get this place together. So, but we encourage you all to join our task force walks. It's very important to do outreach and actually meet the community members. They kind of know who we are now, but we also need you all to come out and represent and be with us when we do the task force walks. Even providing resources when we go over to Wildcat Creek and then we're on the railroad and all of those, encampments, those people who need resources. It'd be nice if you guys are there to join us and actually talk with them and help them get resources. But other than that, that is all I have to report, and we hope to see you at Earth Day. Thank you.
Question for you.
Uh-oh.
Now, thank you for all the work that you do.
Thank you.
And it's really nice, but it's like same what I asked. Is there any chance maybe here and there to do one of those meetings in the afternoon on Thursday? I was usually going to the meetings, but then I start working during the day. So I don't know if that would be maybe maybe.
Oh, you mean the task force walk?
Yeah, maybe like here and there, not every time. I know it's hard because the people that work do.
That is something that I could actually bring up with Kalu.
Yeah, maybe like here and there, like I said, like not like every month, but at least like so we might have chance.
Every quarter, every 3 months or something like that, to have it later in the afternoon. Okay, what time do you get off work?
Well, I usually after 4, I'm ready. I can do it after 4.
Okay, no promises, but I definitely bring it back.
Okay. And if you have one, just know. Shoot an email or text and
Yes.
I'll try my best.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Richmond Land is next. I'll be short because I know that we'll be back next month to give a full update. But starting with the Eco Village, the North Richmond Eco Village. So Richmond Land is building an Eco Village And we've been awarded the 2 sites that are right directly in front of Verde Elementary. The design has updated, so the project has turned into 2 phases. So the first phase will be rehabbing the large site, which is on the east side of Garamita, into 8 units. So that's rehabbing 4 duplexes and bringing to North Richmond 8 community land trust units for permanent affordable home ownership. And then the second phase 2, which is the smaller site on the west side of Garamita, will be redeveloping. So developing up to 4 very small cottage units there on that site. Of course, the Eco Village will have shared amenities and garden beds, parking, and solar, and we'll be back next month to give all of the project details. We've been really trying to secure a partnership because we're a very new developer, emerging nonprofit developer, and so now we're needing a partner to take on these sort of this sort of big project, right? So we've been trying to secure that partnership through a local organization, which is CHDC. Still exploring that, still in negotiations, but we've also been trying to prepare for this development, right? So to develop the Eco Village wholly is going to be around $8 million development, but for the rehab site, it's only a $4 million project. And without the funds that came from John Joya and the Bay Area Quality Management District, those sources are so important to the Eco Village because they're going to really support filling the financial gap to make our units as a community land trust permanently affordable home ownership, right? There are a lot of folks that aren't going to be able to get into the traditional home ownership pathway because they maybe live in the projects and they have, you know, a certain cap on their income. Through the CLT, we're able to try our hardest to make some of our units be very, very affordable to low-income folks. So yeah, we're really excited. We applied for those sources and we're waiting to hear back from them. And we're still going to be preparing for those larger sources, which is like Measure X or AHP, right? Those large county sources. But for now, we were just so appreciative that these financial resources were available at this time for us. So that is where we are with the Eco Village. As Richmond Land, the Community Land Trust, anyone is available, anyone that believes that land is liberation, that housing is a right, believes in our points of unity can become a member of Richmond Land. Through those responsibilities, you're able to really steward and guide the mission and the vision of the organization and kind of how we're scaling our model here in Richmond. So yeah, anyone could become a member. We're hoping that y'all could sign up. We are gonna be launching a home buyer program at the end of this year to really support folks with their home ownership pathway. We're also trying to internally develop a program, a workforce development program with some residents here in North Richmond. And then also we're also thinking about doing another annual Buy Back the Jet. So a lot more to come from Richmond Land. There are so many ways for folks to get involved, and I'll leave all of those links and materials and announcements with Tanya. Questions? Thank y'all. And the last person is Urban 2, last announcement.
Good stuff going on in the community. Couple of things I wanted to ask before. I didn't want to keep coming up here, but couple of things. Tony, is the unit on Fred Jackson Way Market that been purchased? I noticed that the grass hasn't been cut lately, so thinking maybe it changed ownership. So wanted to ask you about that. And then also wanted to ask you about the campus. Did the single family homes change to townhouses? Yeah, those are my 2 questions for you.
Well, I think the single family townhouse kind of fall into the same category. The townhouse is not a duplex, as far as I know anyway. Um, but again, I think part of this is still up in the air because they got to figure out the economics of everything. Does it make more sense to build a townhouse? Does it make more sense to build kind of a sprawling single family? Those are the kind of decisions that are still on the drawing board and that they get to, ideally bring to the community and show you their design, their plan, get input from you all, and kind of that's when you speak up about, whether it's desirable or not. One of the problems with one of the proposals we got for all this was that, they were proposing to put, over 300 units on that property. Well, that seemed pretty excessive, and it would create this very dense, very kind of stifling kind of a neighborhood. And, we didn't think that would be a good solution. So,
Right. Yeah. So we rejected that proposal because that was a
Yeah.
different developer, right? Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not sure which property on Fred Jackson you were talking about, Tifa, but
It's the
we,
colorful one. It's the one with the art piece. Wow.
Yeah, that's
You,
me.
you own it. It's a lot lower. I just noticed it today. I was like, oh, okay.
yeah, maybe email me off line and
It's-
we can look it up.
It's okay. I see the owner. It's fine. Thank you.
Okay.
And then you said follow up with the lighting on the county.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Like, you said that you followed up, but I wasn't really sure what that really meant.
Well, there's a pretty long list.
Okay, so
we take-
offline. Okay. All right, so at Urban Hill, first, June 2nd, you all, I think June 2nd, we have a election in June, just want to put that on everybody's mind. We have, for the people that live in the city part of Richmond, I think the council's on I got an email from Secretary of State. I was thinking November, but apparently there have been some changes, so mark the date, the month, June. Okay, Urban Hills, let's see here. So we just finished with after school at the farm, this pre-K through fifth grade. That's going to resume in May. It was really great to have the young people there. They planted carrots, they harvested kale for salad, they made fresh squeezed lemonade, and they fed the chickens, they ran through the sprinklers, they had a lot of fun. And so make sure you bring your young people out. This week, it is the middle schoolers on spring break. Let's see, as I mentioned, those that are going to have they're candidates for Eagle Scouts, they come and do projects at the farm. They've been doing some really wonderful work there. I mentioned that we have 60 students from a school that's out of the area. They're coming and they're going to be volunteering at the farm. So definitely, Shields Reed, came to our last, was it last month? Shields Reed, the young people from Shields Reed came and joined us after school at the farm. So that was great. So we want to continue to see you all out there. Let's see. So we had the vote at Verde so we had the series of meetings and not for us, without us vote. And we moved that vote from March 7th to March 21st. We were able to participate in Janine's dad's homegoing on March 7th. And we moved the vote for, so that we can, we just wanted to make sure we were there. So I wanted to share, we had, the community came out. It was nice to see folks getting their steps in, just walking to the school. It was really nice to see the North Richmond residents out. So everyone.
Smarter than Adam? I don't think so. Yeah, he's pretty smart. Yeah.
Yeah, can you mute, please? All right. Yeah, mute that. Okay, so anyway, the residents had 21 votes. There were 6 buckets. They had 3 votes on each of those 6 buckets, and then they had another 3 votes for priority. So the buckets were active transportation, that's like bicycle programs, active transportation, public transportation, climate resiliency, air pollution reduction, food and health access, affordable housing, economic development, blue-green jobs. And so we started with a list of 51 projects, and then residents added an additional 7. There were some projects from the Quality of Life Plan. There were some from the Richmond Parkway Plan, Climate Action Plan. And so at the end, we'll be sending out additional information to folks that attended, and we'll have a full report also. So the top 10 priority vote getters were, so repaint. So the project was repaint North Richmond homes that are affected by refinery soot. That one received 14 votes, and that was submitted by resident Paulette Foster. We had a project submitted by Deshaun Goodwin, 200 community level sensors. That one received 12 priority votes. The North Richmond Farm Phase 3, which includes the Climate Resiliency Center, received 11. The North Richmond Grocery Cooperative received 11 priority votes. There was a project called Nourish the Village, submitted by a resident, has to do with food access and teaching folks agriculture, young people agriculture, kind of an extension of what the farm does. Wildcat Creek Trail Improvement in many parks received 10 votes. And also the project that has to do with the sensors also had a component of jobs, 550 jobs. That one received 10 votes. The Richmond Parkway overpass at Wildcat Creek received 7 votes. And then there was a project to confirm and enforce truck routes that received 6 votes. So those are the top 10 vote getters for priority votes. And yeah, so I think that is it. One thing that we do have at the farm, we're going to be planting, we have an existing orchard, but we're going to be planting some trees along Burnside Drive. So we currently have a survey to see what you like to see there. And I think that's it. Have any questions for me? All right, thank you.
You're gonna plant trees like, that would be sort of a border to the farm, like right there on Brookside.
That's currently the working. Thank you, Latifah. It seems like we're waiting for the newsletter with all these lovely announcements that everyone gave, right? Perfect.
Well, if people want to hear everything that happened, today we record all the meetings and we have a YouTube, and in the YouTube you can find all the meetings that have ever happened. We've been on YouTube, girls.
You did not get a sign. I know we are. Okay, y'all, so we on YouTube. This meeting.
I just want, one more thing, I just wanted to just briefly say thank all of you who showed up, for my dad's homecoming. Annie King Meredith, Donald Gilmore, Daryl Davis, John Joya, Urban Tilt staff who actually came in and helped set up and everything, and all the community members that showed up to celebrate my father's homecoming. Thank you very much.
All right, thank y'all for joining tonight's meeting. The meeting is adjourned.